A very good morning to you. Watching the Channel M Breakfast Show, and it's Monday, the 30th of March. We're skipping through March, aren't we? Almost April. My name's Nikki Dean.
And I'm Byron Evans, and throughout this morning's show, we've been celebrating the fact that the lady with the best pins in the business is performing here in the city centre over at the MEN Arena. She was on stage last night. She's also performing tonight. She is, of course, simply the best. Tina Turner. Real name is Nikki Dean.
Anna May Bullock, of course. We've been teasing you with questions all throughout this morning's show. We've had quite a good response, haven't we? It seems that there are a lot of Tina Turner fans out there. Yeah,
we've just been posing some questions, having a bit of a laugh, and you've been diving in, bantering on with some of your answers and retorts, which have been rather humorous this morning. We've also been asking you what you think that Coleen and Wayne Rooney's child will be called. It's been announced in the papers that Coleen is pregnant. She's 3 months into her term, and, well, there's some odds on as to what they may name the child.
Certainly are. Bookies are already taking bets. The favourite boy's name is Alex, after Sir Alex, of course, quite ordinary. Olivia is by far and away the most popular girl's name. Not entirely sure for the reason behind that, but there's also 25 to 1 if you fancy sticking a quid on. Rank outside of that, they might call their little girl, if they have one, Waynetta.
Waynetta.
Like it. So we asked you to get in touch with some suggestions, and we've had some corkers, haven't we?
We have. We've had... This is from Anonymous. Hi, Anonymous. This is Kanga.
Like it.
Rooney, Kangaroony.
It's a good one.
And Reese from Hyde. I think it should be said that this lad is a Manchester City fan, who actually said, how about Shrek the Second? Cruel, Reese. That's really, really cruel.
Cruel but funny.
Totally out of order.
We also had another suggestion that they could have called it first name Moon, initial E, Mooney.
Rooney.
Like it. We had a few of our own. Tinhead, perhaps, after the famous Tinhead in Brookside. Or Sinbad.
Sinbad.
Or Lily. Or Paul O'Grady.
Or Ringo. Ringo Rooney.
Yeah,
quite like that one.
That's got a nice Ringo to it.
Yeah, hey! Anything else you want to chip in on? Please don't hesitate. breakfast@channelm.co.uk. Text us 88821. Start your message with show. Put your name on your messages. We'll shout them out. Fear not. We've got all the latest sports headlines still to come on this morning's show, but first, let's get the latest headlines with James.
Good morning. Let's check the main headlines for you so far this Monday. An inquiry has been started after a toddler was believed to have been given an accidental overdose at Pendlebury Children's Hospital. 3-year-old Renee Healy is on a life support machine, and medics say her condition has now improved slightly. She was originally there for treatment on a routine kidney complaint.
They're supposed to be the people you can trust to look after your kids, and she's ended up worse.
Do you feel you've been let down?
Definitely. Definitely.
Law students are demanding plans to cut a third of their lectures at Manchester University are scrapped. They've staged a protest march over the plans, which they say would have made them think twice about studying there. Academics say it's all part of bringing in new teaching methods. Home Secretary Jackie Smith will be back at work later, trying to put the row over those expenses behind her. The minister's husband has apologised for leaving the cost of 2 adult movies on her cable TV bill, which was claimed back out of taxpayers' cash. Opposition MPs say it's undermined her position. An independent inquiry's on after an armed policeman fired 4 shots at a gang's getaway car after they raided 2 banks in Droylsden. 4 men simultaneously burst into both the Cheshire Building Society and the Halifax on the Market Street shopping precinct. The Independent Police Complaints Commission's now looking at what happened.
At that time, actually, a armed police officer was just passing by when a member of the public drew his attention to the attack. He chased the robbers to their getaway vehicle, and as they got into their getaway vehicle, they pointed what we believe to be a shotgun at him. He was an armed officer, so he dealt with the threat, and he actually fired shots at the getaway vehicle, which then drove away and left the scene. It was a silver Honda Civic. It's a 4-door car. It's like a small family hatchback.
Hundreds of drivers could soon be able to claim back fines for misusing Manchester's bus lanes. It's after the driver of one private hire car had his £30 ticket cancelled. Kevin Duffy has more on this.
Whoa! That lane is for buses and hackney carriages only. This CCTV camera means that going down it is going to cost those drivers a £30 fixed penalty notice. Or will it? Private hire driver Derek Brocklehurst got caught the same way. But Derek's fixed penalty notice was quashed after he told the City Council that signs at the entrance to the bus lane were not quite right. And this, he says, makes the fixed penalty notices unenforceable.
The blue plate here, 953, cannot be used without the only sign. This only sign was erected roughly around the 19th of the 3rd. I was given a ticket in, I think it was January of this year.
And it looks as though Derek's got even more bad news for the City Council.
The actual lane width here is wrong. It should be a minimum of 4 metres, and it's not. It's less than 4 metres. So that in effect, that makes the bus lane unenforceable, really, as well.
According to whom?
According to the traffic regulations 2002, which are...
But even as we spoke, they kept on coming.
Well, do you know that if you go down this lane, you'll get a £30 fixed penalty?
No, I don't.
If Derek's right about the signs on this bus lane being wrong, then presumably any driver who's been given a fixed penalty notice for going down this bus lane could challenge their ticket just like Derek. And of course, this isn't the only bus lane in Manchester, there's loads of them. And if the signage on any of those bus lanes is wrong, then Manchester City Council could potentially find itself facing an avalanche of similar claims. I'm Kevin Duffy for Channel M News.
Thanks, Kevin, and we'll be getting a response on this from Manchester City Council later. Ricky Hatton has settled into his base in Las Vegas to prepare for his next fight. The Hyde hitman will take on Manny Pacquiao at the start of May.
Best shape I've ever been this far out. Still got 5 weeks to go. I think at a push I could be ready in a couple of weeks. I've got to be careful I don't overdo it now, but I've got a fair few fights under my belt now. I'm very experienced at this game now, so I can't see that happening. But just in perfect shape for the time of my training camp.
And we're waiting on official confirmation of rumours that Wayne Rooney and his wife Colleen are expecting their first child. The story made the headlines in the papers over the weekend, which claims she's 3 months pregnant. If it's true, that means the child will be due in September. That's all from me for this morning. I'll be back with the Channel M lunchtime news at 12 noon. Don't forget, Andy Crane's here with more from 5 o'clock tonight. Now, though, back to Byron and Nikki for the sport.
Time for sport news now. And Byron, what a weekend it was in the world of sport. Let's start with the Formula One, and Johnson was certainly on the button.
Very good. Yeah, it's been a weekend of impressive debuts. We'll start off with Jenson Button and the debut for the Brawn team in Formula One. Previously, it was Honda only a couple of months ago, but had to pack it in because they couldn't afford keeping a car on the track because of the economic downturn. But certainly didn't affect Jenson Button, his first win since 2006 when he won the Hungary Grand Prix. That was his only win in something like 154 previous race meetings. Fantastic display, but Rubens Barrichello made the success even more fantastic, coming second. So that's 1-2 for Brawn. Great opening for the season, which took place in Australia, Melbourne, yesterday. On the subject of amazing debuts, Joe Murray took to the ring in Altrincham at the Leisure Centre for his first professional fight. He's had an illustrious amateur career, being third in the World Championships just a couple of years ago. Had a bit of bad luck at the Olympics in Beijing, but certainly made up for that in 6 rounds at the Altrincham Leisure Centre, as I mentioned, against Sid Razak.
A lot of people still think I'm going to run around, but that was the amateur sport. You had to be hit. You had to hit them and not be hit. Where in this sport, you can plant your feet and you can take them little jabs where, as an amateur, you couldn't. So everyone keeps thinking, oh, Joe Murray's going to run away for this, like all the rounds. But as you've seen today, I go forward and I can put a little bit of punch in there as well. I think I hit him with every shot in the book, and he still looked at me and carried on walking forward. So you got to give Sid credit. He's not really been stopped many. It's just been refs who've stopped him. He's never been put down. So I think you got to give Sid credit for how much he took today.
To be fair, I think some refs might have stopped that at some point.
Yeah, that's I was thinking he might come in now, but he never did. So, but I didn't mind. I was glad to get the 6 rounds under my belt. So when I go Vegas, it's nothing new.
Excellent. Well, it seems that Murray certainly is a genius. Evans, you were there at the weekend. What was the atmosphere like? Fantastic.
It really was a great night of Mancunian boxing. Scott Quigg was also fighting on the undercard. He put in a fantastic performance to win. So did the Prince from Droylsden. The atmosphere was electric. There really is a fantastic fan base for young Joe Murray. But taking top billing was Matthew Hatton, the younger brother of Ricky Hatton, who is hopefully fighting on May the 2nd Ireland for the vacant welterweight title, which he had to beat Ted Bammy in order to be applicable for that bout. And, well, he did it in emphatic fashion, stopping the dangerous one in the 6th round with a devastating blow to the body. And we caught up with him after the fight.
Absolutely delighted with that, and as you can see, the dressing room's in absolute uproar, you know what I mean?
Welcome back down to earth.
Yeah, but, you know, pleased with that, you know, former European champion there, Ted Bammy, and I fancied myself to stop him tonight, you know, but I thought maybe later in the fight, but to do him in 6, I'm pleased. He was harder to hit than a 40B, you know, he was quite a short opponent, and he was using his size to his advantage, you know, dropping quite low. And I found a lot of my shots were sailing over his head, you know, he was coming underneath and I was getting a little bit frustrated. But he was definitely tiring in there, so it was only a matter of time, really. My last 2 fights beating Ben Taki, you know, world title challenger, and now I've just disposed of the, you know, former European champion, so, you know, the opposition's getting better, but I'm performing better, you know, so I'm really looking forward to that world title challenge now.
Yeah, fantastic display by our local boxers, as I mentioned. So the very best of luck to Ricky, to Matthew and Joe, who are 3 British Lions who will be going to the good old US of A. I think that's what you call a pride of Mancunians.
Like it.
Fantastic.
Go on, lads.
Of course, all our Premiership boys were in England action at the weekend with their 4-0 win over Slovakia in a friendly, which puts them in good stead for the Ukraine World Cup qualifier on Wednesday. But just a quick note on the lower leagues, Bury and Rochdale did their promotion hopes no end of good as Bury beat Bournemouth 1-0, putting them in an automatic promotion spot at the moment, and Rochdale drew with Exeter 2-2. They were leading a couple of times but only managed to draw, but nonetheless still doing OK.
Absolutely, excellent news there. And from football to rugby, and the Manchester Sevens competition comes to Macclesfield Rugby Club this July, with a whole host of international teams and players already confirmed for the 3-day event. It's not just the rugby that might excite the punters.
So there's something for everyone. We're really pushing it for families to come along. So how people would normally go to a music festival, we're trying to create that for the rugby public, especially from around Manchester, and they can come along and they can camp. There's live bands, DJs, party marquees, massage tents, possibly a pitchside jacuzzi to have a glass of champagne while you're watching the rugby. So there's a whole host of things going on, and obviously there's world-class rugby alongside that. We've got some big sides coming along, Sale Sharks obviously coming along, and some of the top 7 sides, the Samurai and the Marauders. But most excitingly recently is Ben Foden has confirmed that he's bringing a side along, which should spice things up with the Sale Sharks connection there. And we're hoping on a couple of other big sides from around the continent, possibly Portugal and the French national side as well.
In association with Channel M, the Manchester Rugby Sevens organisers have provided viewers with the chance to win 4 VIP hospitality passes to the festival this summer. The 3-day rugby and music festival will be held at Macclesfield Rugby Club between the 10th and the 12th of July. Sale Sharks have confirmed entry, as have the British Army and a number of other world-class teams. Alongside 6 tournaments, there will be a friendly atmosphere with fancy dress, camping, live bands, party marquees and fun for all the family. To win the 4 VIP tickets, please answer the following question. Which Sale Sharks player has played for the England Sevens team? Is it A, Andrew Sheridan, B, Luke McAllister, or C, Matthew Tate? Please email your answer to sharks@channelm.co.uk. Good luck.